As a guy that makes YouTube videos, my Notes app is a complete dumpster fire of unfinished ideas and miscellaneous brainstorming sessions. Whenever I think of something that I might want to talk about, I jot it down, and most of the time I'll follow through with it, but recently I've noticed that I have a ton of music-related stories and concepts that I do think are interesting, but there's often not enough there to make a full, detailed video. So without further ado, I give you my most chaotic product yet, a bunch of random topics bundled together and perfectly curated for you to use as small talk in the near future. Who would you guess is the best-selling solo artist in American history? Based on certified album sales from the Recording Industry Association of America, I'll give you a taste of who's on the list. Drake is pretty far down there with 26 million, Adele is at 28, Bob Dylan's at 36, Eminem 47, and then the top 5 is Elton John with 79, Billy Joel 85, Michael Jackson 89, Elvis Presley 147, and the highest selling solo artist in US history with 156 million units sold, Garth Brooks. I'm gonna be completely transparent here. If you asked me to name a single song by this man, I'd have absolutely no clue, and he's number 2 all time on the list for any musician or band, only behind the Beatles. While I know very little about the world of country music, and I assume he's very beloved, I think this insane record has much more to do with his distribution methods than his actual popularity. During his career, he had a very lucrative, exclusive deal with Walmart for physical sales of his albums, no MP3s, and now in the digital age, his projects are only available to purchase and stream through an exclusive deal with Amazon Music. He's the only artist in history to have 9 diamond albums, which is 10 million sales each, and yet he has no official music or videos on YouTube, nothing to stream on Spotify or Apple Music. It's weird, but it gets even weirder because I have to mention Chris Gaines, Garth Brooks' alternative pop rock alter ego. Garth wanted to experiment with a different sound while being completely removed from his country persona, so he put on a wig and some makeup and dropped an album. Garth even hosted SNL one time and then performed as Chris Gaines as the musical guest without informing the audience that they were the same person. And you might be thinking to yourself, this is too strange to have ever worked. Right? Greatest Hits, the one Chris Gaines album, still went double platinum in the US. That's how good Garth Brooks is at selling records. In the past, I've gone over music websites like Jukebox, where you can hear artificial intelligence recreate songs by popular musicians, and Music Map, where you plug in any band, rapper, or singer, and you can find similar musicians that you also might like. Now I want to highlight the Magic iPod. This one's been around for a few years, and it's basically a chance for you to mix and match popular 2000s rap vocals to angsty rock instrumentals from the same era. You've got 20 different hip-hop tracks on the left, and 23 choices of indie, punk, and pop rock on the right. It's a smooth drag-and-drop process with each song's eligible pairs. You can create some pretty funny mashups, and it's an entertaining way to make a couple hours go by. The undisputed classic is probably Miss New Booty and 1,000 Miles, but you really can't go wrong with these options. In the past, I've talked about people that don't know how to make music making music. I've ranked a bunch of music made by celebrities, and I've given my take that a lot of so bad it's good electronic adjacent pop songs like Barbie Girl by Aqua and Boom 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 by Venga Boys paved the way for critically acclaimed musicians like Charlie XCX and 100 Gex. I now present you with 2 different celebrities that don't know how to make music, kinda sorta being ahead of their time and making some nightmarish electro pop. You might know Farrah Abraham from her time on MTV's 16 and Pregnant, who then caused controversy by starring in a couple of adult films. Here's her auto-tune heavy, blown-out track, finally getting up from rock bottom from her album My Teenage Dream Ended. And then Tiffany Trump, the ever-forgotten daughter of our former president, released a song called Like a Bird. And I'm just gonna use the YouTube comments to describe this one. It's like a mixture between Grimes and one of those ringtones that came with your old flip phone. And And then this one's not in the same category, but it's another case of obscure quasi-celebrities making a song. Remember Balloon Boy, the international news story when everybody thought that a 6-year-old was in a gas balloon 7,000 feet in the air? Well, Balloon Boy himself, Falcon, is now the frontman for the Heaney Boys, a heavy metal group composed of him and his brothers. Here's a snippet of their song, Balloon Boy No Hoax. We Are the World was a charity single made by some of the most legendary musicians ever that has raised almost $150 million for various humanitarian causes. During this iconic song and music video, we get appearances from Lionel Richie and Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner and Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen, Cyndi Lauper, Bob Dylan, Ray Charles, and more. Star-studded is an understatement. If you go person by person, pretty much everyone here makes sense, but then you see comedian and actor Dan Aykroyd, and that's the only one that's confusing. Apparently, the story behind his inclusion alongside these classic artists is that it was literally an accident. He walked into the wrong building, started talking to a talent manager, and got invited to join. At the very least, Blues Brothers was huge, so even if he got invited without being in the right place at the right time, it could work. But what makes way less sense were several of the inclusions in the sequel, We Are the World 25 for Haiti. Yeah, we've got some of the biggest singers of the 21st century like Justin Bieber, Jennifer Hudson, Miley Cyrus, Adam Levine, Usher, and so on, but then I'd love an explanation for this trio of Farnsworth Bentley, aka Diddy's Umbrella Man, Jeff Bridges, and Vince Vaughn. Speaking of charity, Live Aid is known as the biggest benefit concert of all time. The London set was attended by 72,000 people, the Philadelphia show with almost 90,000, and nearly 2 billion watched the live TV broadcast. That's about 40% of the world's population. And while this is not exactly a fun fact, but I do think it's a fascinating discussion, there's been a ton of criticism and arguments about whether or not the hundreds of millions of dollars raised actually went to the causes that it should have. Long story short, the benefit was organized in the first place to fight famine and hunger in Ethiopia. The issue is that there's been speculation that money was diverted to the dictator government, leading to the purchases of weapons during their ongoing civil war. This is admittedly a very messy situation, with Live Aid's founder constantly denying any wrongdoing, but it's scary to think that one of the biggest charity events ever could have led to unnecessary pain and suffering. Never Leave You, Uh-Oh is the 2003 debut single from New York rapper and singer Lumidee. The track peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, it saw international success as well, and it's one of the most peculiar hit songs I've ever heard. I've been trying to research the song's origins, but I just can't figure out why it sounds so bad. In various articles and comment sections, I've seen two major camps trying to explain why she sounds off-key and awkward. First, Lumidee was a talented rapper, not a vocalist, yet she was encouraged by her producer to sing anyway. Or second, and this is the bigger conspiracy theory, she was a decent singer, but she recorded those vocals over a completely different instrumental, and then the producer threw them on a track that did not mesh with the notes she was hitting. Regardless of the story, it's genuinely shocking hearing a song that was this big, made in the mid-2000s, that sounds so unprofessional. The uh-ohs are an earworm, and the dancehall beat is definitely what made the song blow up, but still, I've never heard singing that sounds so amateur on a hit record. And I love a lightning round, so I'm gonna finish off this video with the remaining bullet points in my notes that I doubt I'm ever gonna get around to. There's a pretty good song called Ghetto Sunday by a rapper named HD, but he sounds like a clone of early Jay-Z. The video would be some kind of discussion of quality versus originality, and which is more important for success. The certified platinum track Sorry Blame It On Me by Akon is essentially him apologizing for grinding on an underage girl, and it's so endlessly weird to me that this exists. I was out to know she was underage. I've been planning a big Woodstock 99 video for a long time because that story is absurd, but HBO just dropped a documentary about it, so Matt Ox was a meme when Overwhelming came out, but I legit think he's so talented. At 12 years old, he was writing catchy hooks, and now at 16, his evolution is clear. The dark, melodic emo rap he's putting out is consistently decent, and I'm excited to see what he does going forward. And finally, I doubt it's on purpose, but I think Ratchet Happy Birthday by Drake is basically his version of outsider music. It's his philosophy of the world. So many songs on the very bloated Scorpion were blending in with one another, and then this track was just so clunky and cringeworthy that it really seems like he's doing a bit. If anything in Drake's discography is camp, it's this.
To be, to feel, and feel.
Comment down below with any interesting music-related stories like these. Thanks for watching this extremely messy video, and I'll see you next time for something a little more refined. Thanks for watching that video. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at RenshawHS. You can buy my merch, support my Patreon, and thank you again. I'll see you soon.